Hi.
Hey, there
Hey,
you
hey.
are. I'm all right. Good to see you. How
Good
you
to see
doing?
you.
Wow, this is exciting. This is my friend Lori, witness to history. So you were at day 18 of the Trump hush money trial, I hear.
I was. I was actually
Oh,
also at day 17, but myself and another woman were unceremoniously kicked out of the building before
well,
court
let's
started.
well, well, let's hear your story
Well,
and how much you spent to make this happen.
yeah, that one was about $500. That was a $500 loss that night.
So
I
what are you spending all this money on?
line sitters. Line sitters because with Cohen starting, there was it was like, the hottest ticket in town to get in the courtroom. And they allow usually about six members of the general public to sit in the courtroom every morning for the
Yeah,
duration of the
I
day.
didn't. I knew they had them. I didn't know it was that few. I mean, that's just
Yeah, they allow up to about 20 to 25 general public in the overflow room down the hall, which is where a lot of the reporters are. The press who's not actually in the courtroom. Um, but that day, my first night, I think it was a Sunday. Yes, it was Sunday night. I got there at 8 p.m. for Monday morning court. I got there at 8 p.m. with the plan of having a line sitter, take over at midnight, which they did. And then I came back at 6 a.m. I rushed home, tried to get a few hours of sleep.
and these people just spend all night in whatever weather, just sitting out there.
Yeah. They've got the and it's a company called Line Dudes or something like that. So
I
they
saw they've
they
got
have a
hats and
business.
everything.
Yeah. They have a business and it's a really cool like niche business. They've been doing it since 2012. And they do it for concert tickets, for iPhones, for sample sales, whatever you want somebody to wait in line for you for. But evidently they usually charge 25 bucks an hour, but they were charging 50 an hour for this event.
So you contract for one specific person to stay in line, and
Yeah.
then that it's like the guy at the airport who holds up the sign, and then you show up and you find your person who's in line, and then
Yep. The
pay him or whatever.
manager of the line dudes, like one of the two or three managers, they'll coordinate it. They've got like 15 or 20 people that work for them. And the managers are usually there on site, like at the beginning, or maybe one of them is. But they have their people. Okay, so and so. Okay, Lori, so and so is gonna sit for you. Um, and then they come and say hello and introduce themselves when they arrive. Um, it went down differently, the opposite the next day when I had to go back because I'd gotten kicked out. But so the sitter came and said, hello, are you Lori? Because I was number 10 in line at that point. So he knew how to find me and whatnot. And there were only about 20 people there at that point at midnight. So then I left, came back at 6 a.m. and he went home, got him off the clock, because I was paying him $50 an hour.
Yeah.
And then at around, 7, or so, all of the journalists that have had line sitters there for them start showing up. I mean, you've got Maggie Haberman, who's 2 days in a row, she was in the front, in that line, because you've got the general public line and you've got the press line. And Lawrence O'Donnell, I mean, just all of these big names that I was geeking out over. But so at about 8, court starts at 9:30. So about 8:15 or 8:30, I could look at the timestamp of my video that I took right before I got in the building, because But about 8:15, they give you a white card, you know, to go to get you into the building. And that white card, well, let me take it back. They give
So we
you a white card if you're in the overflow. They give you a yellow card if you're in the courtroom. So
gotcha. We went to see Jimmy Carter do Sunday school, and it was a similar deal where you go down to Plains, Georgia. You got to get there like 3 in the morning, get in line, and then they hand you a number, and you got to go through Secret Service and all that kind of stuff. But then you got to see him do his little Sunday school thing. It was only a couple of years ago, and it's
oh wow.
fascinating. It was fascinating. It was great to see him, and Rosalind was still, around, and
Yeah.
then they take a picture at the end. But it's the same kind of thing where you're just up all night, like you're lining up at 2, 3 in the morning. You know,
Yeah. What but what there's I bet there was a big turnout to see him.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's the same thing. There's an overflow room in the church, but who wants to sit and watch him on TV? I mean, you want to
Right.
be in the room, and he was great. I mean, it was very secular. It wasn't particularly religious. He talked about politics and told stories about back when he was president and this and that and whatever. So it was great. It was
That
well
sounds
worth it.
nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
That sounds
you
really
just
nice.
got to sit out there and wait your turn.
Yep.
So wait, how'd you get kicked out the first day?
So we were given our, we were gonna be in the overflow because we were numbers well, 9 and 10. And when I came back at 6 a.m., the woman who was number so I was 9 now because somebody left. And when I got back at 6 a.m., I was no longer 10 or whatever, I was 9. But we knew that they would probably usually only let a max of 7 people into the actual court. So I knew I'd be in overflow. I was fine with that. But when I got
Yeah,
back at
there's
6
still
a.m.,
no other way to see it. In,
right,
in that in
right,
that case, overflow is it because it's not
right.
on
And at
TV or
least we're
anything.
actually seeing it because you've got in the overflow, they've got like 5 55-inch TVs.
It's like being in Video Village,
It is, but you're on wooden benches and but yeah, it's like a big
and there's no
video
good
village.
snacks.
And you've got, right, but no snacks. Um but so when I got there at 6, the person who had been number 10, you know, uh earlier in the night, it was now a woman. She had paid him for his spot. She paid him, he was asking 1,000. I think she paid him 600. And she and I became friends. It turns out she's like a famous author and screenwriter, Maria Semple. But so we're getting chummy in line. We get our cards. Now it's time to like, okay, now and the police, the police are the ones who hands out the cards to the court police, and they come across the street and give you a card. Then they lead you over. So Maria was in front of me. She had her phone out. She was videotaping as we're walking across the street. I'm videotaping as I'm walking across the street behind her, and I'm saying, "We're going in. Oh my God, we're going in. We're going in." And then the court police, said, "Good morning." I'm like, "Good morning, good morning," and I literally just audibly I squeal. I'm like, you know, and then I turn off my camera because we're about to enter the building, but we have been given no instructions. We knew obviously that just from breathing, we knew that you can't have, your phone on or even out in the courtroom. Um, so we go through security, right? When you get in the building, the scanner and whatnot. And then they lead you into the elevator up to the 15th floor. We get out, and it's kind of a little like rushed and intense. You get out and they're like, okay, right there, like, okay, get in this line is all very, militant and, all right, you get in this line. And so we get in this other line for another screening to go through x-ray and have them check our bags. And while Maria and I are standing there waiting in that line to do that new screening, we both had our phones out and we're taking pictures like selfies and stuff like we're both so excited, not realizing that this area it was, so all of a sudden we've got the security rushing us saying, move back, move,
Uh-huh.
back. And I'm thinking it's because Trump is walking through or something. And, back, and I had like in that quick chaos, I powered off my phone thinking, well, I don't want to get in trouble. Anyway, it's because we had our phones out.
Gotcha.
And I'd turn on my phone and they stood there while they walked us through how to delete that video we just had and then go to the deleted videos to delete that. They took
Right.
our cards from us and said, go to the elevator, get in the elevator, get in the elevator. And it was so fast. They just kicked us out.
Wow.
And it was all so fast and traumatizing.
And I'm guessing the line dudes don't give you a refund.
Oh, no, 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 no. And
Line dudes gonna get their money.
not line dudes will collect regardless. And yeah, so we just walked out and, my head was spinning, so she immediately, as we're walking down Canal Street toward the train, she, gets on her phone and she contacts line dudes again to book them again to get in the next day. And so I do the same thing. We're both standing there on our phones contacting line dudes. We both book. And I'm thinking, I can't afford to do that again. I'm not really working, and I haven't worked in a year, and then I've worked a little bit this year. So I'm like, I can't afford it. But I was so
You're
now I
already
was
in it.
determined. But I
You're
was just
already in
like,
it.
I was like, no,
That's it.
I cannot lose, I can't have it slip away now. No. So I was determined, regardless of the fact that I was going to have to spend more money. So we both booked people to start the next afternoon at 1 p.m. 1 p.m.
Oh, right, because you can take over, obviously.
Right. So she booked hers from 1 p.m. to 6 a.m. I booked mine from
That's like
1
buying a
p.m.
car.
I know. And I booked mine from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. So that's Monday night.
Yep.
So, right. So I left. It was hard for me to leave the area because I just couldn't accept what had happened. So I didn't leave the area until about 10:30. And it was 8:30 when I got kicked out. So
This was like when I worked at Pine Knob in Michigan.
I've
And
been
Phil,
there.
yeah, oh, it's a great place. And Phil Collins canceled his concert after the first song. He walked off. He had a hangover or whatever, and
Oh no.
people refused to leave, and they sat out in the parking lot till like midnight. Had themselves a good old time. Anyway, all right.
Wow.
So
Um,
you get back in line. You spent all night there.
right. So
You you
I get
stayed
back.
awake. Yeah, I guess you have to stay awake, or someone will
Well,
steal your space. Or...
when I went home after we got kicked out on Monday morning, I got home at like 1 p.m. and my line person was now starting
Yeah,
already for the next day because I'm not gonna take any chances. And I wanted to get in that courtroom. If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna get in the
yep.
courtroom. So um I took an Ambien. I took an Ambien because who falls asleep but I had been kind of up all night.
Yeah.
I
Film
was I
production
slept
people
from
fall asleep
1:30.
at 1 in the afternoon. Yeah.
It's hard though. I slept from 1:30 till my alarm went off at 7 and I went back downtown. I woke up, blah blah blah. Yeah. Went back downtown, got there, at 9, relieved my person, and then I sat there with a bunch of other line dudes all night long. But
Now,
I wasn't a line,
at some point, you're going to have
but
to leave the line. Nature's going to call, or I
oh, and
mean,
everyone's cool with that. Everyone's
yeah.
super cool with that. Like there was a 7-Eleven a few blocks away, and
So
you
you
could
can
go in
tell
the
the person,
courthouse and get back.
you tell the person behind you, I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be back in 10
Well,
minutes. And
at this point, you all know each other.
yeah,
You all
okay,
kind of and I especially recognize faces from before. So it's like, and oh, but line dudes actually they kind of maintain the order, even though not everybody there is associated with or using line
right.
dudes or
Oh,
whatever
oh, good.
me.
Somebody's got
But
it.
they take people's names and assign numbers to them in line when people
Right.
arrive to
Yeah,
keep some.
great.
So anyway, it did it. I got into the room. Um, Maria showed up at 6. relieved her person at 6 a.m. And so we got in. We were numbers 1 and 2. And it was amazing. It was incredible.
Now, I
It was
know I asked you
incredible.
this. Was it really cold?
No. And interestingly, because I saw them, one of the legal pundits on CNN referring to that this after, a couple of hours ago, saying, we're talking about Trump's, lies out, out front of the courtroom and whatnot. And she said, one of the only things he has said that's true is that it's freezing in there. He's right about that. It's an old building and it's freezing. But when we were there, we're like, it's not cold at all. Maybe there's air conditioning blowing right down on top of Trump, but I don't think so. It was not.
Well, when you get that old, old people are always cold. They want a blanket.
Maybe that must be it, because we made another friend in line while we were waiting to go in that on Tuesday. And she's a reporter, blah 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 type. But the three of us women were sitting there and we had our like jackets off and whatnot. And we were like, it was very comfortable. But and I get cold easy, but so it was fascinating. And
All right, so this was day 2 of Cohen's testimony, and this
correct.
is when the defense had a chance to
Yeah,
question him.
it started out, the morning started out with prosecution still continuing their direct of Cohen. And then right after lunch, the defense took over for the cross exam, which during the direct all morning from 9:30 till 12:30, Cohen came across so likable, credible, sincere, soft-spoken, very respectful, yes sir, yes ma'am. And when he would tell a story, which kind of has a funny connotation to it now after today's trial of what happened in Cross, but when he would be telling a story, he would look at the jury and tell them, where evidently on day 1, he would look at the prosecutor and tell them the story, or look at them while he's telling the story.
Well,
But
he is an attorney. I mean, he knows how the
yeah,
game is played, and
but regardless,
he did his crime and he did the time. So
yeah, and he
he's
owns
just
up
got the
right
story.
to it. And but he was just, and he seemed tired. Um, but yeah, I thought, wow, this is great. And then the cross exam started after lunch, and I was taking a lot of notes, copious notes, lots of notes, and I wrote, "Is this it?" And I wrote it again, like, when are they going to are they going in for the kill? Are they going in for the kill or even a bite? Because so far this is nothing, you know. Um, and so that was it. And I thought, oh, Trump is going to be pissed tonight. He's going to be pissed. And they had the next day off, the Wednesday. He's gonna be pissed on Wednesday. He's gonna be so pissed because this cross exam is just like done. It's been a nothing burger. Um,
This is when he started to nudge his attorney a little bit. Hey, hey, hey.
oh, that was on
That was before.
that was I think that was Stormy Daniels.
Okay, right.
That was when he
Right.
was nudging
Got
Necklace.
it.
And this day, by the way, on this Tuesday, we had, Trump the 2 or 3 weeks prior, he'd been, there had been nobody there to support him. Nobody on his side of the aisle, nobody there to support him. And, that was a big talking point, in the press, that this man, his family's not there to support him, no friends. So,
Well, the thing that I heard that really got me was when he said he really didn't care if Melania found out, and that how long am I going to be on the market for if I
yes,
get divorced? Like, if
yes,
you're his current wife, is that something you want to hear
yeah,
during the trial where a porn star is testifying that
yeah,
she had horrible sex with you, and you're saying, "Well, if my wife finds out, I don't care." Look at me. I'll.
Like, yeah,
And he's not wrong.
and
Get in line.
did you? I don't know if you saw the testimony from Monday, I believe it was. I think it was Monday. Yeah, because I had to watch it. Just watch the text on on one of the news shows that evening
Yep.
since I didn't make it in the room or the building.
For for
Or
for Stormy, you're talking
no, it was
for
Monday
Cohen.
when,
Yeah.
Cohen, but Cohen had said that when Trump met Stormy that day in Tahoe and spent the evening or part of the evening with her, um, that the next day Cohen said that he said to Trump, so did anything, happen with, that Stormy dinner, that whatever. And Trump said yes. And then Trump went on to say something because Trump had Ben Roethlisberger was there at this porn event in Tahoe that Trump was hosting or whatever. And Trump went on to say to Cohen at that moment something about all these women want me, and look at, you've got Ben Roethlisberger and they all want me over Ben. It was just, that was just funny, something that,
Ben wasn't sitting there in his boxer shorts, looking like a
that's
sad
true,
puppy.
with the mustache. But
Oh God.
on Tuesday, Trump had his support system there. And the supports, like I knew Eric Trump had started going to trial, I think on Monday. And support just Eric. Tuesday, it was a different cast of characters. It was quite the cast of characters sitting there, just 25 feet from me, I guess. Because I was in like the second to last bench, and it's not a big room, but they were in like the second or third rows from the front, behind Trump. It was Eric Trump, Laura Trump, Alina Habba, and it seemed like Alina Habba, his previous attorney, his little pit bull that has zero experience being an attorney. Um, Seemed like
That doesn't stop
Alina
him.
and Laura.
As long
What's
as they're
that?
loyal.
Right, exactly. It's that, yes. Alina and Laura, Alina was very chatty all day, and Alina and Lauren seemed like they were besties. And then to Alina's left, you had Vivek Ramaswamy, and then you had, oh, in the row right in front of them was Governor Doug Berman. I forget, he's on the VP short list. He was there. And then a rep, some MAGA representative from Florida guy was there. Big black guy. And I thought, he looks familiar. And then I looked it up or saw later who he was.
The
Um,
lady who shot her dog, was she there?
she was not. She was there in spirit,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so was Cricket. Um,
Oh, poor cricket.
I know. And then when they would leave the courtroom, Trump and his support system, I was sitting there on the bench, on the aisle, right by where
Did
they
you
passed.
did you smell anything weird?
I did not. I
Okay.
was keeping it open. The guy sitting to my right, the numbers uh 4 and 5 of us five who were allowed in, he had an odd smell. And I swear I think he was having trouble staying awake. But other than that, I did not. But when like Trump, and this was like four times, 4 or 5 times that Trump and his people would leave the room because we would take like 10-minute breaks. So you had 10-minute break, then lunch, and then a 10-minute break, and then quarters adjourned for the day. But I was sitting there and I was looking up at Trump, looking him right in the eye with a glare, and all of them, Vivek,
I'm
all of
sure
them.
he's used to it.
It's interesting because part of me, he caught my eye on like the second leaving. We had eye contact, and I had this glare, and there was a part of me that felt felt badly. I felt mean. It felt mean. Um, but I glared at them all. Oh, and then Susan, I think her name's Susan Necklace, the attorney who did the Stormy Daniels cross-examination. Good, really well-respected attorney, super well-respected attorney. Anyway, I had some serious eye contact with her when she was walking out one of the times. But anyway, I was just geeking out of the whole thing. I couldn't
Yeah,
stop in the room with Trump and
like I
Bill
said,
Clinton. It's a dream.
you're a witness to history. I mean, very
I
few people
am.
are going to get to be there and
And I want to go
see that
back.
see this
I want to go
trial,
back.
the only trial that's going to happen maybe ever before the election.
Likely.
Yeah,
But, you know, we all forget that if Trump doesn't get elected,
right. They're
come
all
November 3rd, the
they're all going to
trials
line
can
up.
just continue, right?
Yep, this is true. All right, I run out of Zoom minutes in like 5 minutes.
Oh shit,
What's
I'm
your
sorry.
Well, you're fine. What's your prediction? They're going to convict him? I mean,
No.
to me it seems like it's the same thing they convicted Michael Cohen about. Of he lied about this payment and hid it and whatever, and admitted that he lied about it, and they threw him in jail. Isn't this the same thing for Trump?
No. Yesterday I would have said I thought there was a decent chance that at least more of a chance than I thought of getting a conviction after yesterday when we wrapped up. Laura Ingraham in the elevator, smushed next to me with Dan Abrams and whatnot, Norm Eisen. Laura was saying that she thought at least 3 or 4 jurors were going to vote for not guilty based on what she was reading from them. But after today's cross exam, they did a great job against Michael Cohen. It did not go well for Michael Cohen, and Trump, and there's no court tomorrow, so Trump can go to Barron's graduation
All
because
right.
Judge Burchin is not a beast, but it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all for the
Yeah,
prosecution.
well, all the witnesses have a checkered history, and I think they've even said the defense are not going to call anybody. They're just going to say you didn't prove the case, and
They might now. Actually, they might
that's gonna be
now.
that.
Or the defense might now be calling Cohen's former attorney because Cohen said some things about that attorney yesterday in court. That attorney was not on Tuesday, I mean, but that attorney yesterday was on Capitol Hill speaking to Congress about the fact that what Cohen said on Tuesday about him, everything was a lie. So now defense Trump's team might bring in this attorney. It's not looking good. Things are starting to unravel. So yeah.
He would have appealed anyway, and even if convicted, chances are he's not doing jail time or
Right. But
slap on the
it's like I
wrist
hate
or
it when he gets to gloat. Like today,
yep.
at the end of trial, when he came out to that little hallway, gloating. I mean, I just hate it when he's not held accountable, but gets to walk away and gloat when he's not held accountable. But
This is all he has in life. Everything is transactional. Everything is me versus this guy and what this guy did to me, and I mean, whatever. That's all he is. So
completely.
let him have it. And everyone's out there making their money. Stormy Daniels selling her prayer candles, and Michael Cohen doing his podcast, and the line dudes getting their
Everyone's getting rich
thousands a
off of
day.
it.
Everyone's finding a way to.
Somebody sold their spot for $2,000 evidently yesterday morning.
Yeah,
Or the day before. Which
the
I
sky
don't
is the
know who
limit.
that is because I thought I knew all the people. Like there's this crazy guy John who was, who sold his spot to Maria. But anyway, but yeah, I'm hoping to go back though, without spending money.
Right.
But
Well,
yeah,
I'm glad you got to go and see it
thank you.
firsthand.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I will do it all over again in a heartbeat if I have the chance.